Hello everybody, welcome to the back nine of our feature card at the MVP Open at Maple Hill, presented by MVP. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
I'm Madison Walker, and we are the two hockeys.
Honk honk. We are watching a pretty interesting feature card here, some names we normally don't get to see. We have, drum roll, Erika Johnson, Maria Oliva, Heather Young, and Jessica Oleskie, keeping it pretty clean but finding some trouble on this difficult course.
Yeah, we'll check in with the leaderboard before we go. We have Missy Gannon, Erika Johnson, and Haley King sitting at even par, which is going to be, I think, hot for the day. That we might see one stroke under the par.
Hole 10 is 281 feet. It's a par 3 uphill. It is a crush to get all the way up here, and then it's on this little strange castle that can be very difficult to putt on if you are right in front of it on the downhill side. Heather showing us her powerful sidearm as a lefty. We've seen her throw a lot of these so far. This is her D2. It is possible to get up here for a putt, but it takes a lot of power.
She'll be right outside circle 2. And I would say for an easy layup for par, but this shot from right there is really difficult. If you hit the wall on a jump putt, it can very easily roll down the hill. So you kind of have to commit to a throw angle so it doesn't get that weird little backwards roll that you get when you're putting and you hit a flat surface. So you kind of want to go past the basket, but then it leaves you a death putt.
I think a lot of people land kind of on the right side, even with the pin, and that's a pretty safe place to land. Ooh, that's a little early. But Jessica's okay with it.
We've seen a couple different tee pad locations on this hole in years prior. Apparently last year it was tucked way back to the right and it was a par 4, and the year before that it was a little bit straighter of a shot instead of tucked to the left like we are this year.
Wow, Maria with a Wraith in the circle, making it look easy.
Tournament arm strikes again. Going to Crush Town, even up this huge hill.
Jessica with a bit longer of an upshot than you'd like, and she's drifting into the woods. She's close, but it'll probably be a little bit difficult in there.
Erika got tangled up on the right-hand side in the Christmas trees.
And as you said, she does hit, but manages to stay. But that is awkward. You're thinking about turbo putting when you're that close to that wall.
Heather opting for the sidearm, trying to just pitch it up.
No, I think she was running it. Yeah. 87 feet, runs it, parks it. Great shot.
She's so comfortable with those little forehand approaches. I think she could throw it in at any moment.
Big putt.
Wow.
Gets Maria back to even par.
God, a 2 feels great on this hole.
Has she missed a putt?
No, she's on fire. Absolutely on fire.
Jessica finding trouble just a little bit low. We'll see if Erika can correct. See the angle here? You have to throw it nose up. She makes it look easy, but
I think being on that left side by the trees does make it a little bit more level with the basket instead of putting straight up at it.
So Erika and Heather with pars, Maria with the birdie, Jessica will have to settle for bogey.
Owen Scoggins was on the card behind me, and we watched her throw it in from like 100 feet. It was awesome.
Yeah, Owen is so good from distance.
Hole 11 is a par 4 with a 360-ish foot carry to get over all of these Christmas trees and into this nice green area where you'll have footing to make your second shot where you crush it straight to the green and get an easy birdie.
Yeah, easy crush birdie.
No problem. You can see the hole averaged at 4.25. It's very difficult to get over those Christmas trees, and once you're in there, it's easy to land in this second line of Christmas trees and have to pitch up. The basket's elevated on a rock wall and it drops off behind, so it definitely gets you into some situations where maybe you have a death putt.
Maria with a Star Destroyer, and we've seen she has a ton of power, the most on the card.
Mm-hmm. And barely gets over.
Yeah, and barely gets over.
I have no idea. Is it me next?
It was a little bit nose up, probably maybe took a little bit off, but it was also a headwind here, so it makes it really hard to get the discs to use that full flight that you need to carry over all these. You can see these trees are a little bit bigger than your normal Christmas trees you'd buy to go in your house. So
No, I like giant Christmas trees in my house.
These are humongous. They're definitely bigger than I've ever seen after playing at Maple Hill for 6 years.
They're also very dense. Like where Heather landed to the left, you could spend 20 minutes without a spotter and still not find it. And Erika kind of in a similar spot, but maybe a little bit closer to the edge than Heather is. This is a wave, and it's a bit too turned, but it's trying to fight out of it.
And that's a pretty normal error that we will see from FPO players, is trying to get the big distance and flipping it, having it carry down to the right, following the angle of the hill as it goes down it towards like a little river gully over there.
Wow.
Still-
Erika throwing through a pretty tight gap, it looked like. And she's pretty close, but still in the Christmas trees. Look how beautiful it is. The lighting, it's like a perfect 68 degrees. Like, we've been in the Midwest for a while.
The
and
sweaty Midwest.
yeah, this feels amazing.
I know it really does feel like fall out here. Everyone is just happy to be outside playing disc golf. You see Jessica showing where sometimes the footing can be a little tricky. You can have a tree in your backswing, but she still gets out.
Wow, that's a great shot from there.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that was her hex, and she gets to circles to edge. That was a very technical line. Maria shining in the sunlight. She's got the best look at a birdie here, throwing her T-bird 3.
Gets around
Oh
all
my
that second
gosh.
line of Christmas trees, and
Gorgeous.
I don't want to call it a tap-in, but man, she's right there.
The way she's putting. Wow.
Heather having to go for another overhand.
Wow.
Oh,
Flashes the basket. I didn't know she was so good at overhand shots.
she's really flexing her East Tennessee roots. I feel like they all know how to do overhands over there.
Erika finding a small gap and parking it for her par. And it sits. I've seen some nasty rollaways from that rock wall.
Yes.
Wow, 2 in a row from Maria.
This is such a good birdie. That's
She's
so
under the par.
awesome. Only 7 of the birdies on this hole. We got to watch one on our feature card.
And my money's on Maria to win the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, this is her first year on tour. She just bought a van, and I mean, she's coming out here and showing us her stuff. I mean,
It's good stuff.
with little experience on tour, she's just looking super comfortable.
It's impressive. Hole 12 is another Christmas tree hole. If you pull it to the right into the trees, you're not having a good time. You can also, if you bail out left too early, it can be rough over there. You're just trying to land on the hillside and then throw down this gap on your second shot. I guess it's possible to reach it, but it would take some luck, and I mean, I've never seen it, but I'd love to see it. Let's see it happen. But at 701 feet, the distance is reachable, but it takes 2 very technical shots. You're going to see some people try to go over the trees on the right and then hyzer out. I think this is a more common play, to throw a flex shot that skirts the right side of the trees and lands in the middle. That was a crush. This is early from Heather.
This is one of the few holes where I think a left-handed drive, backhand drive would be the advantage. It's a bummer to see that one just squeak out a little bit early. Those Christmas trees are so brutal. They're really packed closely together over there on the right side of the fairway. So once you go in there, you pretty much are guaranteed a weird overhand shot or like a big flex sidearm high.
Erika's really early on the left. She's going to have a hard time even saving bogey. And Jessica, I mean, sidearm's not a bad play, I think, to just hit the gap and make sure you stay in the middle, but that came out really early release. Erika, luckily on the edge, and good effort from there.
Yeah, nice power from a standstill with really awkward arm.
Look at this tiny gap. Jessica throwing up and over, which is smart.
Yeah. That tall tree you can see through the gap is towards the right side of the fairway. You want to be a little bit more left to open yourself up to look at the basket.
Honestly, all these ladies having relatively decent gaps to throw out of the trouble. That could easily go a very different way.
Yeah, that is rare. Erika with her third shot, looking at that gap, still about 250 feet downhill from the entrance where she is getting some good ground play, sliding way down. This camera angle is making me question that's 250 feet down.
Okay,
Maybe it's more like 180, 200.
Yeah, I don't know. With the downhill, it definitely looks shorter.
Yeah.
If anybody can get the birdie here, it's Maria. And I mean, she does get all the way down there to circle two's edge, which is amazing.
And she's on the downside of the green as well, so she doesn't have any sort of death putt to worry about. Catches the guardian tree to keep her from going way down the hill towards the basket. This plate is the third most difficult hole on the course.
Dang.
And you can see why.
It's so hard to throw perfectly down this tunnel. Look how steep it is.
Jessica just throwing at the ground, hoping to get some good skip action. She skips a little straighter, but she'll be, I think, right inside the circle.
Just inside.
Yes. Tree love. Erika in the golden sunlight. Tree branch slows her down just a little bit.
Man, everybody but Maria really working out here. This is a birdie look.
Oh my gosh. I almost want to see a GK replay even though it was a miss. Such a sweet Anheuser line. Still looking super powerful even on that tough Anheuser straddle angle.
Erika unable to convert as well.
There were no birdies on the day. I bet you, I'd be willing to believe that Maria was the closest look all day.
Yeah, I am inclined to agree with you.
75% of the field with a bogey or worse. This hole is hard. This green is also rolly. There's a big pit behind it that can definitely eat your discs.
Honestly, from being early off the tee, a bogey here isn't too bad for
Definitely.
Heather there.
Definitely not.
And yeah, Erika having to get the double, and I believe Jessica with a double as well.
Oh no. One thing about getting a double on this hole is you're really not losing strokes on that much of the field. Yeah. If you're gonna mess up a hole and get a double, this is the one to choose.
Man, Maria's still under par through 12 holes. It's wonderful.
Solid as a rock. Take a deep breath, forget that hole exists, and move on to hole 13. It's downhill, it's 473 feet, but it plays closer than that. Definitely one that is within reach for the FPO field. The main goal here is to get through this gap with some air still under your disc. It's easy to throw nose down and land right here on the ground and not have enough to get all the way to the basket. But it is scary because if you hit that gap in the air, you could hyzer out, and the left side is awful. There's so many trees.
Or if you throw something, like a fairway driver or a distance driver and you get through the gap, you can hit by the basket and then skip long. Like this, I have no idea what this could do. It's a beautiful shot. And actually, the speed control is unbelievable from Maria.
Yeah, it stays beautiful. She's inside the circle. That is such a technical shot.
That was an MD3. Yeah. So that was a great play because the mid really controlled her landing speed.
Heather early releasing just a little bit. There is water you can find down there. And she found it.
Yeah,
Wow.
She unfortunately got through everything.
Honestly, I've never seen anyone do that.
I mean,
but I guess with a left-handed,
she went through 100 trees, like
100. Normally, there's no way to get through there, and you have to kind of scramble your way out of that clump.
That's a decent shot and an even better roll from Erika.
Jessica playing to the right-hand side. Maybe a little bit of a grip lock, but I mean...
She gets through too.
Yeah, honestly, it's not bad over there.
No, it's not. She'll have a pretty open look from about 75 feet. Heather with what looks like nothing.
Oh.
It is dense over
Yeah,
there.
you can see all those trees that she somehow got through.
Man, I feel like Heather's having one of those rounds where, you know, she's making some mistakes and stuff, but she's just finding
The worst
horrible spots. Like, unable to scramble.
It happens so quickly off the fairway at Maple Hill. Every year it gets a little bit lusher, a little bit thicker. The trees get a little bit bigger.
A little Christmassier.
This is a tough little up and down.
Stop.
Straight downhill, but she still manages to land it on the green. That's so hard.
Roll it on the green. For the birdie.
Ooh. Barely a couple inches low, but it lays down.
Probably the first missed putt inside the circle we've seen from her.
No birdies on the day.
Yeah. Heather with the double bogey makes a good putt to keep it at a double, not a triple.
I feel like that surprises me.
That there's no birdies.
Yeah. Thought there'd be at least a couple.
Again, we'll see some, I'm sure, this weekend. Good par putt from Erika.
Nice par from Jessica as well.
And I guess a disappointing par for Maria.
Oh, so close par. We'll check in with the leaderboard real quick before moving to the back half of the final 9.
Wow, Maria, the only one under par at this moment in time.
Katrina and Kona looking solid at even as well. Everyone else starting to add strokes and move their way down the leaderboard like happens so quickly.
It happens. Hole 14 is another water carry. It's a par 3, 286 feet. As a right-handed player, you're trying to hang it over the water almost the entire way before the disc hyzers out and hopefully lands near the pin. Speed and angle control are important so you don't skip too far left and have a scary putt coming back. This is a little too straight.
Yeah. Definitely trusting that disc, floating it out over the water, but it doesn't quite come back as much. Another classic Maria issue, just throwing too straight.
I hate that.
I hate that. Erika bailing out left a little bit.
Yeah, she threw Destroyer, I think, knowing that at least, you know, if you make it on land and skip, it's a par. Sometimes those can dig in if it's on a steep enough angle, too. This looks great. This is a trace, and she'll have a scary putt, but that was a beautiful shot.
It's been fun watching Jessica throw all day. Her drives are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got to watch her very much. Only played maybe 1 or 2 rounds with her.
Heather flips her F2 over too much, but should have an easy time getting par.
This is such a scary left-hand hole.
They all are. I mean, I
That's
didn't
true.
realize until watching this, but this is a terrible course for left-handed players.
It is definitely a lot of extra challenges.
And Maria gives it a good little run there. Heather with that touch forehand, like you mentioned, super comfortable throwing shots like that.
Erika just laying it up here. It's kind of a death putt, especially from far away.
Jessica looks like she's going for it.
Yes!
There it is. Man, she didn't even hesitate.
No.
The water is so close behind there if you miss that putt. Awesome shot. And
Nice.
good bogey save, honestly.
And really nice comebacker. I think par is great unless you have, you know, a really powerful sidearm on this hole, and when you're left-handed, par is great.
She had like one clap at first.
Hole 15 is 323 feet. It's one of my favorite holes on the course. It's pretty much flat, even though there is this gully that goes downhill and back up in the middle of the fairway. It's a very specific line, again, that you have to hit to get to the basket, but there are a little poke and hope gaps if you go straight instead of carrying over, getting the full flight that you want and coming back to the green. You don't want to err here by hitting an early tree. It gets really tough to get up and down if you catch one and go left or right.
This is a relay, and that is a great shot. Even though it looks like you should throw perfectly straight, like as you were saying, there is a big gap on the right that if you turn your disc like Jessica did, you can find and get towards the pin for a putt.
Oh, that's the one tree you want to miss. But thankfully it did not kick hard left or right. It's right in the middle. It'll still be tough down there. There's a lot of bushes and stuff that can definitely get in your swing.
Yet another difficult hole for a left-handed player. The gaps on the left are much tighter than the ones on the right. Here's that FD Maria's been throwing all day.
I think
Turned too much. But
in practice, Maria was trying to go for that straight gap.
that was weird.
Oh yeah, Erika landing in some really bushy areas.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. She's unable to get out, and we'll have to have another kind of tricky bush throw.
Forced to go with a sidearm. I mean, and she's still probably 200 feet uphill from there.
Heather, this also looks a little bit tricky, but she's a great scrambler.
Turns it over a little, but
I think she's inside circle 2.
Yeah, finds the just outside circle 1 region. Erika for
Oh,
saving the bogey.
oh man. Oh, good. I'm glad. I hope we see this in slow motion here.
Yes.
Yeah, she has kind of like an air bounce throw that just floats in. I love her style.
Yes, that was amazing. Just a standstill shot. That is so awesome.
Yeah, very cool. She's been doing that all day, giving them little soft runs from about that distance. I'm glad one sunk for her. Even though it was for bogey, it was still cool.
Yeah, they don't go far past. It's like the dream. Maria giving it a good bid for her birdie. Jessica having a challenging Anheuser putt. Looks like she was opting just to lay it up. It drops off behind the basket here, and it can go really far past really quickly. Doesn't stop Heather from running.
That's 2 holes in a row where Maria gives it kind of a good run and then has to make a long comebacker. I think that's one of the best markers of a professional player. Just being able to have the confidence to go for it and know you can make the long putt back if you miss.
Heather doing the same here, but unfortunately it was for bogey. Starting to get dark here on the feature card. They teed off at around 3:30 or 3:40, and it gets dark pretty quickly after that.
Well, the rounds took at least 4 hours, maybe 4.5, and there were a lot of backups. We didn't really talk about that. Hole 16 is a par 3, 401 feet. It is kind of a new, I think, tee and pin. You're shooting diagonal towards the normal pin. You're trying to throw kind of a turnover shot towards the right and carry over a casual creek to get towards the pin. It's very difficult to get all the way there. Early hits, that's a bogey for sure. That would be amazing if she can scramble. If you can get out of the gap, even if you fade off to the left, you'll usually be able to get your par. This is a very technical shot.
Yeah, it's a new hole, a new pin, new basket, but it's still a 400-foot par 3, which is not reachable by most of the women's field, especially because it is, again, another very specific line you have to hit to get all the way to the basket. There is like a little bit of you could sneak through on the left-hand side, but you really want your disc to turn over right at this tree that Erika is, almost missing.
That's the one to miss. Yeah, all of our ladies finding trouble so far. This is actually not a bad left-hander hole. This is a D2. Gets most of the way down there.
Yeah, early release is just a wee bit. She'll have to scramble out of some bushes.
Man.
So tough in there. I watched Haley try to scramble from these bushes during our round, and I mean, there's just nothing. And it's so steep uphill before it crests to go down to the green. You can see Maria having to throw almost straight uphill, trying to get her disc to still push so she can give herself a putt.
That was a Firefly, and I think that's about as good as she could have done it. Jessica is still scrambling pretty hard on her third shot here.
Ooh, that looks good.
Great.
Yeah.
I found it.
Hole 16, who knew it would be hiding there? Oh. Really awkward, kind of reverse patent pending step out. Looks like she had some little sticky trees to deal with.
Heather throwing Spikeiser. Oh, yeah.
Perfect. And that's really how you play this hole. Chuck your drive.
As a left-handed
Yeah,
player?
chuck your drive and then just scramble.
Yeah, that's true. This would be an amazing par save. Did anybody birdie this today?
Oh, I thought that was in. No. Oh, yes, there was 2 birdies today.
Oh, wow.
And I'm so curious how far their putts were. Ellen Widboom and Missy Gannon. I could see Ellen.
Forehand.
Oh, yeah, throwing a really awesome forehand line. She's got the full flight.
So Heather taking the only par on our card here.
Ellen actually had a 110-foot throw-in
Yes.
for her birdie.
Awesome.
Yes. And looking like Kona had a tap-in. Wow.
Okay.
Okay, Kona. No big deal. Hole 17 is an uphill 431-foot par 4. You want to get through this skinny gap, landing to the left side of the fairway, preferably to open up your shot to the green. You want to go up and over this hill, and the basket's elevated on a rock wall that's kind of a death putt.
Swarm Digital guys up in the left-hand corner, they design, develop, and maintain websites. If you're a business or just a disc golfer that needs website work, give them a call and mention GK Pro for a free consultation. Their phone number and link are in the description of the video. This is such an intimidating gap.
It is really intimidating. Heather opting for the sidearm. This is where I think being a lefty is awesome. Just this one hole.
The last hole wasn't that bad. There's
No,
like
it
3 holes that aren't that bad.
But it's nice to not have to turn your back and still be able to get your disc to the left-hand side of the fairway.
Yeah, if you can get it left to open up your next shot, you're pretty happy. Like, this is going to be way too far right.
Yeah, she might get through.
Oh, wow.
She gets through, cuts the corner a teeny bit, but she'll have a look.
Yeah, she gets enough distance where her angle isn't totally cut off. So that's not a bad play.
I feel like that's the farthest I've ever seen anyone throw on
I mean,
this.
100% true.
That was a crush.
This is a great shot, again, getting out left.
That was also a crush. She gets way past. A lot of people land by that stump.
That
and
first
she gets,
stump.
Yeah, she gets past it.
I feel like, again, as you turn your back to the small gap, it's hard to throw it as hard as you want.
Well, it had to be someone.
Actually, it would be fun to see statistics on how many people hit one of these trees per card.
On my card, 3 out of 4.
Wow. Mine was 50%.
Really nice kick, and she's able to get up and down.
Yeah, if you kick to the side off one of those trees, it's so much worse. So at least she kicked straight down. Wow. Okay.
Don't do it.
I'm just going to hear you whisper that to me when I'm sitting on the tee of this hole. Oh, wow.
Wow. That is such a good technical approach.
Man, Heather has those sidearms dialed.
Yeah, that is absolutely perfect angle control as well, because it can so easily skip way past.
Wow, Jessica, too.
Dang.
Getting down there for a long look on a terrifying elevated basket downhill.
Oh, a little bit of a early release, but that's okay.
It's okay. That side's probably better than the right side. Man, Maria got so far.
What, she could just like jump putt. So good. So good. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing a lot more of Maria on feature and lead cards.
Agreed.
Like you said, her first year on tour.
Really smart plays from Erika and Jessica, just laying up. This is not a basket to mess around with.
Wow, Heather, 20 feet
That is
for her birdie?
That is such a good birdie.
Get it, girl. Everybody else? Oh my god, Maria parked. And the other two for par?
You won't see that very much
was-
on this hole.
Or, well, like, Jessica was that early hit, so I guess she's bogey.
There was only 6 birdies on the day, and 40% of the field with a bogey or worse.
We gotta see 2 of those birdies.
Moving into the last hole on the course.
Yeah, new tee position. There is a mandatory. You can see that first tree on the left. You're throwing down this tunnel, trying to get towards the left just to open up the next shot. Actually, a very similar drive to the last hole. And then you're either laying up short of this kind of island style green where you have to cross this OB path, or getting real aggressive and trying to get up there for a putt. It's definitely possible. It's very technical. You have 100 people in the stands watching you make very, intimidating decisions.
Yeah. Watching you make mistakes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But
Another hard lefty drive, especially because you're wanting to finish far left to set yourself up for a second shot. But Heather may just be playing this one for the 4.
most
Well,
likely.
actually, I don't know, because she could set herself up for a second shot. That's great for a left-hand backhand.
I did forget to mention that rock wall is out of bounds. I'm not really sure what. Did you see what happened with Maria's drive? It kicked.
went-
I think it kicked off the rock wall left.
Kicked left. Erika playing way out to the left-hand side. The only thing is if you go too far left, there's one Christmas tree that can block you from throwing
Yeah.
a big Anheuser
That's true.
and going aggressively for the green. But with the new tee pad change in the last couple of years, I think a lot of people are not necessarily banking this as a birdie. A lot of people are going to opt to lay up.
Thanks. Not what I envisioned, but it works.
Do you hear it squishing? This is a very flooded hole.
Maria being forced to lay up with a kind of shorter drive with some funky footing. Heather opting for the sidearm. Definitely just laying up maybe a little bit further to the left than she wanted to, but she was going to have to hug the out of bounds line the whole way with that sidearm. Is Jess going for it? No.
No.
Okay. No. Really nice layup.
Yeah.
Well-
She's definitely pushing the far end of the layup, which honestly, if you get close enough, you have a putt.
Wide
If
open.
you do go for it and miss, there's a drop zone where you have to putt through a V tree, which is kind of cool. You have a chance, but it's very technical. Erika kind of hanging out with Heather, maybe a little farther back than you want, but not bad.
Heather was still kind of a... Oh, no, it was wide open. Okay, cool.
Parks it for
Yep.
par.
Really-
Maria is on this right side, so she's going to have to pick a gap, it looks like. And she does it.
Gives it kind of a bid
Yeah,
as well.
great height. Erika looking straight at it.
Nice little floaty approach. There were 4 birdies on the day. We were watching Jessica putt for hers. Oof, just a little short.
Good effort.
I watched Colleen Thompson birdie it on my card from way downtown. She threw an awesome drive to the green. And we see Paige Pierce, Sarah Hokum, and Katrina Allen as well. Par feels great on this hole.
Yeah.
We watch these feature card ladies tap in their pars.
Maria absolutely shredding at even par. Erika 4 over, not bad. That's probably got to be top 15 at least.
Totally.
Maybe closer to top 10 even. Heather having some trouble, but she really cleaned it up that last section of the back nine. And Jessica 10 over. Not a bad showing, honestly.
I mean, it'll be right around her rating, right around 910, 920. See a lot of color on this leaderboard. This is a course where you have to be super okay with taking your bogey, taking your double bogey, and just moving on. You're just not going to find a ton of birdies out here. You can see the green is few and far between spread out on our feature card. Kona absolutely killing it with 1 down. That's going to feel great.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think it was 995 rated.
Lower than I would have thought.
Katrina Allen and Missy Gannon joining Maria at even par and will form our lead card tomorrow.
Everyone else hanging out just 1 or 2 or 3 strokes over par in the top 10. That's about what we expected. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and thanks to GK Pro for the awesome FPO footage out here at Maple Hill. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're two hot geese.
Honk.
Honk honk.